Did you hear that? What was that? Do you know what animal sound was that? Yes, you are right. It's the sound of a rooster. I grew up in a countryside where my grandma raised a lot of Malay chicken. So I'm very familiar with chicken. Do you know, whenever a mother hen wants to lay eggs, she will sound like this. The whole day. It sounds like as if it wants to announce to the whole village that she is getting to lay eggs. As a naughty boy, I like to play with the chicken because during my time there were only 2 channels in the TV and there were no internet, no computer, no video games. So I was so bored, I would chase the chicken and catch them because they cannot fly like other birds and they also cannot run as fast as I could. So it's an easy catch for me. Now, why am I talking so much about chicken today? Because I would like to use chicken to describe man's mentality. After Adam sinned, his children, his grandchildren, and his great-grandchildren, and the entire mankind corrupted. This also included the corruption of our mind. So you and I are the descendant of Adam. We are human beings. We are all from Adam. So our mind is also corrupted. Since after Adam's sin, man is not living a life according to God's plan and God's will. So man lives a life not much different than the chicken. Eat, sleep, poop, grow, learn, and then get married, lay eggs, get sick, get old, and die. Perhaps chicken is more valuable than us. After they die, they taste delicious. KFC, finger licking good. We human, after we die, we turn back to dust, eat dust. This sounds very hopeless and helpless, right? The situation is even worse when we are locked down. So we are now like chicken locked down in a cage. God knows that it is not good for man to live like the chicken. He did something to change our life. He sent Jesus to save us. After Jesus raised from the dead, he gave man an option to live a different life. We can choose to live like an eagle, strong and mighty, soaring high up in the sky, freely to enjoy the beautiful scene below. Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31 says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." Let's watch this story.
The farmer one day found an eaglet's egg, and he picked it up and took it over to the hen house and put it under one of his hens. And when all the eggs were hatched, the little eagle was hatched with all the other little chickens. And of course, immediately the mother hen begins to rear her chicks, as she often does, and the little eagle was treated exactly the same. And as he continued to grow, he assumed he was just a part of the family. He was another chicken among chickens. And so he began to learn the things that all little chickens learned, to go around the barnyard and peck for worms and And then when it came to flying, learned to fly maybe a few feet, first at very awkward, and then he got pretty good at flying only a few feet at a time. And this is the way he continued to live, just following the role of all the other chickens. And then one day, when he was much older, he looked up in the sky and he saw a beautiful, majestic bird riding on the winds. And he turned to one of his friends and he said, "Who is that?" or "What is that?" And his friend said, "Oh," he said, that's an eagle. They're birds of the sky. He said, "We're chickens, and we're birds of the ground." After the old eagle heard his friend tell him that that was a bird of the sky and he was a bird of the ground, there was a part of him that had been caught in that moment of seeing that bird in the sky that ignited a longing in himself to fly a few feet, to eat worms. The worms had never satisfied his hunger, and the flying never seemed to be enough. And he suddenly realized that he was facing a decision in his life. And that decision really was, do I continue to go on with life as I've always lived it, or do I do whatever it takes to fly like that bird? And so he began to ponder that, and he made a decision. He would rather try to fly like that bird than to simply accept the way he had been living. And so that's the decision he made, to fly. And his life was changed forever.
Which one is you, the eagle or the chicken? If you want to be an eagle, you need to know Jesus, know God's word, and obey what Jesus says. Colossians chapter 3 says, "Since then, you have been raised with Christ. Set your hearts on things above, where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things." When you read and obey the word of God, your mentality will be shaped like Jesus. When you have the heavenly mindset, you can still fill your heart with joy, hope, and peace during hard times. God's word will lift you up like the wings of the eagle. Help him to soar up above the clouds during thunderstorm. Do you want to be an eagle or a chicken? I will talk more about eagle's mentality next week. If you want to live like an eagle, invite Jesus to be your God. Ask God to help you to understand His word and give you the power to do His word. Be an eagle, not a chicken.